I've got very bad, for years, 25, 30 years probably, I've had really bad toenails. I mean, my toenails have been so bad. People said, Russell, you need to put some shoes on. Them things look terrible. You need to go to the doctor and have them things surgically removed or whatever. You know, they're pretty black, you know, and they wasn't as bad as some people's I've seen, but they were still pretty bad to look at. And that was one of the things when I first started wearing this device, I was really hoping that this thing would help with is my toenails, because I always hated it because people look at my toenails when I'm wearing flip-flops or, you know, this, that, and the other now. But I've got pictures of before and after of my toenails, and they don't even look like the same the same person's foot. That's just how well they have improved. They were real thick and had like black looking stuff growing out from underneath them, you know, up in front of the toenail, and now all that's gone. Now all the black is gone. I can actually cut my toenails halfway normal now, you know, so it's really helped a lot.
Hey, Russell, thanks so much for coming to spend some time with me today.
Great to be here. Glad to meet you and talk to you.
You as well. Where's your cute little accent from?
I live in near Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a Southern boy, I guess. Always have been.
Nice. I love it. When I lived in Florida for about a year when I was a kid, and when I came back, I pretended I had a Floridian accent.
Yeah.
It lasted about a day.
Yeah. Everybody, you know, I got people that can pick my voice out anywhere. Like I say, I have a lot more Southern accent, I guess, than a lot of people in my area does.
Yeah, they're probably transplants.
Yeah, probably.
So Russell, can you start off by just telling us a little bit about your health history prior to coming to QHS?
Well, you know, I've always been a very hard worker, you know, all my life. And, you know, I've always had a physical job, you know, so I've got lots of aches and pains, a lot of worn out joints and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So, you know, kind of like been rode hard, put it well, I guess you might say, you know. But I've never had any major health problems. I've very seldom gone to the doctor in my lifetime. You know, I've only had one surgery, which was a hernia surgery at one time, but, you know, I just got a lot of wear and tear. And, but since I've gotten my device, I've had it now since about 8 months, I guess. I think I started with it in September of last year. And I've got this rotator cuff disease. I guess that's what ails me the most, is my shoulders. I've had MRIs and stuff done, and they said that I have a bad inflation in my joints and my shoulders, and it causes pain that extends down into my arms. And, you know, I have a hard time, just like, for instance, like I said, I'm a worker, lifting up a sheet of plywood. I used to be able to grab a sheet of 3/8 plywood by the edge and lift it up and set it on top of a sawhorse with no problem, you know.
Wow.
Just throw it up there, you know, up until about, I guess, 10, 12 years, 15 years ago, maybe something like that. I have a hard time even lifting it off the ground. Same thing goes for just like go to the refrigerator and get a glass of tea. I mean, a pitcher of tea out of the refrigerator, you know, a full pitcher of tea. It was hard to lift it out of the refrigerator with, without using both hands. So, but since I've been using the device, let me tell you this too. Sleeping at night, I've always been a side sleeper. I can't sleep on my back. I can't sleep on my stomach. I've always been a side sleeper, one side or the other. But it was so bad that I wake up all during the night because the weight of my body on my shoulder would start hurting, and it hurt all the way down to my arm. My arm would go numb, you know, and stuff like that, you know. So I had to flip over to the other side. So it's back and forth all night long. Never got a good night's sleep. I mean, it's going on for 10, 15 years, you know.
Wow.
And I got the device and started using it. I put it in my pillowcase underneath my bottom of my pillow, in the very edge of the pillowcase up next to my neck. And that's how I sleep on it. And it wasn't just a few weeks, if that I started noticing that I didn't have the pain in my shoulders anymore at night. And I started sleeping all the way through, except maybe a bathroom break or, something like that. But, I slept all the way through the night and having, very vivid dreams, which I had dreams, but nothing like I do now. I mean, I want to tell you a little story about a dream I had the other night. This is how
Cool.
vivid my dreams are. I was sitting in a house that I used to live in. I wasn't even there anymore. I was sitting at the kitchen table, and there's a banister between me and the great room. And for some reason, there wasn't one there like this, but there was a PVC pipe, looked like about 8-inch PVC pipe that come up through the wall and turned out into the kitchen. And you can looking right into the end of a long sweeping elbow fitting,
Okay.
and looking inside of it. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, that thing needs to be cleaned out. There's dust and dirt and grit all inside the bottom of the elbow. That's how
That's
vivid of a
random.
dream, how vivid of a dream it was. You could actually see the dirt inside of a PVC pipe. It's just crazy,
Oh, that's
kind of
hilarious.
how vivid the dreams are. But anyway, getting back to my sleep. Now I sleep all the way through at night, and I don't have all the disruptions during the night, rolling over to the other side, stuff like that. But as far as the shoulders go, that's, about all I can say about that, other than I don't have the pain like I used to. I can't say I can throw a piece of 3/8 plywood up on top without any pain, but I definitely can get it up there,
Nice.
and get it on top of a sawhorse I never, before I started using the device, I couldn't even hardly get it off the ground. But
So you're getting strength back. So not just pain-free, but gaining strength, right?
Well, that I would say so, but usually the way I understand it, a person's strength is judged by the amount of pain they can withstand. If you had no pain at all, the human body could just pick up a car. That's how strong. I mean, that's my understanding, is how strong a human body is. If you could, they've heard of people in dire situations, life and death, grabbing the end of a car, grabbing the side of a car and lift it up and get a child out of something, Well,
yeah. Sorry. I think that's adrenaline.
Adrenaline?
I think, yeah, because I lift heavy weights, and I'm telling you that sometimes, like the other day, I was trying to do a heavy shoulder press, and I can do 75, but pushing 80, it didn't hurt. I just couldn't move it.
Oh, okay.
I could not get it off my shoulders. So, I think that it doesn't have to do with the pain. It has to do with the amount of strength in your muscle fibers.
Right. Well, I've always felt like I was limited. Okay. The other thing is I've got very bad, for years, 25, 30 years probably, I've had really bad toenails. I mean, my toenails have been so bad. People said, Russell, you need to put some shoes on. Them things look terrible. You need to go to the doctor and have them things surgically removed or whatever. They're pretty black, and they wasn't as bad as some people's I've seen, but they were still pretty bad to look at. And that was one of the things when I first started wearing this device, I was really hoping that this thing would help with, is my toenails, because I always hated it, because people look at my toenails when I'm wearing flip-flops or, this, that, and the other. And I have noticed now, I mean, I've got pictures, I can't show them online, but I've got pictures of before and after of my toenails, and they don't even look like the same person's foot. That's just how well they have improved.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They were real thick and had like black looking stuff growing out from underneath them, in front of the toenail. And now all that's gone now. It's still thick, but it's just white. It's not, all the black is gone. I can actually cut my toenails halfway normal now, so it's really helped a lot.
Oh, cool. Did you upload those pictures into like your diary online?
I posted them one time. I posted them one time on the chat channel, and I was hoping somebody would catch them off of there and put them in there, but I never did.
Nobody can touch your diary. That's like yours. But you can upload, I can send you a video on, how to do it, but that would be great for.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. And I've also got a real bad scar on my leg. Years ago, I was dragging a sheet of steel backwards across the floor, and I tripped and fell and dropped it.
Oh.
And it went down my leg from the knee all the way to the ankle, and it just ripped the skin all the way up, all the way off my leg. And I could see everything inside my leg, And anyway, I was rushed to the hospital, and they stitched it back up the best they could. And they always said, well, it's never going to be pretty unless you have plastic surgery or something, cosmetic surgery to make it look good again. Well, I never worried about it because it didn't really look that bad. But up until I had the device, it was getting really bad looking. It was I got pictures of that too, but it was really looking bad. And it looked like the circulation around my leg too was really bad. And it was starting to, like have red spots on my skin around the scar on my leg. So I took a picture of that. We first started this journey. I took pictures of everything that I wanted to watch. And I've got pictures too of my leg where the scar, you can't hardly see it now. I mean, it's still there. It's still there, but it doesn't look anything like it used to. It looks like, something that's been, it looks like it should look, I guess, from an injury 30, 40, 50 years ago,
Wow. So what about the red spots? Are they still there?
No, they've more or less gone away too. They more look like, instead of red sore looking spots, and now just more like dark tan looking spots on my leg. They're not, they don't concern me anymore like they used to. I used to have worried about whether I had good circulation in my legs or something, because my legs had such red spots and everything on them. But now they look, for a 65-year-old man, they look pretty normal to me, Hopefully that's going to change for too long.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing is I had really bad eye sag over my eyelids, sagging down over my eyes.
Oh, the top lid, like coming down?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would actually covered the eyelids covered probably a third of my eyeball. Whenever I was looking at somebody, my eyelids had real bad. I was thinking, I was always wanting to have surgery, to have my eyes done, to pull those eyelids up, get rid of the sag on my eyes and stuff. Well, I don't know if you can see it in the picture now, but
yeah, I don't see any sag.
Take my glasses off and get a little closer,
Wow.
There's hardly any sag there compared to what there used to be.
So we've got a facelift in a box. What a deal.
That's it. That's why I wanted to do this, because I have seen so many different things. I'm going to show you a picture real quick if you don't mind.
No, of course. Now, did you say you had it 8 months, Russell?
Yes.
Wow.
And this is a picture, if I can get it in the camera, of what my eyes looked like before. Can you see them?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And you can also see how much wrinkles I had in my forehead and on my face and stuff. And, I don't have the wrinkles like I used to have, and the eyelids are not drooping down in front of my eyeballs anymore. All this is just from carrying this device. I carry it 24/7, and now I'm putting two of them together. I just found out you could do that. So now I've got one at my feet and one at my head at night when I'm sleeping. And I got two in my pocket right now, one in my shirt pocket, one in my pants pocket, so.
Oh, nice. Did you order the spare device or something, or do you have different versions of it?
I had the small one to start with. I'm carrying the two small ones right now, and I upgraded to a larger version, but I'm having a little bit of difficulty with it. It charges real fast, doesn't hold the charge very long. So I quit. I just went back to using the two small ones.
Well, the white one's going to be available soon, and that one's going to be.
Well, that's what I've been kind of holding out for. Is I figured I would wait until that one is available, and then I'd upgrade to it, instead of using the black one that I had, the big black one that I have now.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about is I hate reading. I've always hated to read. I've never liked. I guess because I've always been so distracted with other things that my reading comprehension was just terrible. I could grab a magazine or a book or anything and start trying to read, and my mind goes somewhere else. I can't concentrate on what I'm trying to read. Maybe I just didn't have any interest in what I was trying to read. I always said reading was for need to know basis only. That's the only thing you need to read for, need to know basis only. Well, maybe I need to know a lot now, because I actually enjoy reading now, and I comprehend what I read. And it's completely opposite of what it used to be. So I would say my concentration and my comprehension has dramatically increased, since I've used this device. I'm like a sponge. I just can't get enough knowledge. I'm just searching anything that pops in my head. I've got to research it. Everything,
wow.
And see if it's, just like different types of growing different types of vegetables, and raising chickens, just anything that pops in my head that I want to know something about. I grab my phone or whatever and computer, and I start researching. So I've never done that before, so I just believe that devices really helped a lot as far as that goes.
That's beautiful. It opens up a whole new world when you can learn new stuff. One thing about the gardening, check out electroculture. I'm trying to get my husband to study it. It has something to do with copper wires and copper poles in your garden.
I've seen that. I have seen it, and I've got a little garden going. Look, I call it a bucket garden that we got started right now, and it's just I thought about trying that, but I don't have any copper wire, and I don't really want to go out and buy any right now. So I'm not, but I will look into it. And
my husband's a landscaper, and so I'm like, you need to check this out, because, how cool would it be we have a farm plus his clients and stuff. So that's like a new trend. At least I think it's new.
Right.
So do you have chickens?
Yeah, we have chickens. We started with 3. Now we've got 12
nice.
chickens, and they're not all laying eggs right now. We've got them for eggs only. I'm not going to, they've become big pets. It's kind of hard to kill a pet, so.
Oh yeah, no way. I would never.
So we just use them for egg gathering.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm interested in post QARC. I'm interested in starting a greenhouse. Maybe I'm interested in the hydroponic or aeroponic gardening. I'd like to start doing that.
Yeah.
Post QARC. There's a lot of things I want to do post QARC, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. But I guess that's all I've got to cover as far as my improvements from the QARC, which I think is a lot, really. I've been kind of hush and quiet on internet, on Telegram and stuff, but I've been paying attention and documenting everything, and I figured somewhere along the line I would share with somebody, and this is the way I chose to do it,
thank you.
Rather than trying to do it text by text,
Oh yeah, this is the best way, because then we get everything in one spot, and then we can break it apart and share it in other ways. But you brought up the QARC, which is coming very, very soon. And so imagine that we get to take all the knowledge and wisdom and lessons learned from these last decades of life and apply them to our do-over. Mm-hmm. What are you excited about? What are you going to do with that?
I don't know. There's not enough time here to talk about it, probably. All I do, I've always been a big dreamer. And, so this just opens up a whole new world for me as far as dreaming about things, I'm going to tell you a little story. My mother, I don't know how spiritual of a person you are, but my mother was very spiritual, and somebody prophesied over me years ago that somewhere along my life, I was going to be something, I was going to amount to something, so here I am 65 years old, and it hadn't happened. I've tried this kind of business. I've tried this kind of business. I've done this, I've done that. And, nothing ever worked out. But I honestly believe the position that I am in right now is where I was supposed to be. It's, that prophecy, what my mom spoke was that this is being fulfilled right now. But anyway, but what I take from this post Q-arc is, first of all, I want to establish an environment for my family, where we can raise our own food. I like to have a pond where my grandkids can fish in, stuff like that, stuff I've never been able to do before. And I want to be able to, I know I'm not a college educated man. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge as far as running a business or any of that kind of stuff. But I do see myself maybe in the near future, maybe really stepping out and getting the education that I need somehow in some way to start some of these healing clinics. I'm involved in the reevaluation of currencies, so I would really love to start some of these clinics and, start small, helping friends, family, community, and then branch out from there. And I would love to put these healing centers in every state on the southeast of the United States. I'll tell you another little story. Since I've been carrying a device, since I've been involved in quantum healing systems, last year I had an episode with vertigo. I don't know if my blood pressure, I got high blood pressure. I take medication for it. I don't know whether the blood pressure brought it on or what happened, but I got a really bad case of vertigo. I couldn't even stand up, so it put me in the emergency room and then in the hospital, and they kept me overnight and they did all kind of tests and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't find anything. They just said that it was vertigo is what they diagnosed me with. They thought I was having a stroke at first.
Wow.
But while I was sitting in the waiting room at the hospital, or in the emergency room at the hospital, I felt terrible. I felt like I was going to throw up any minute. I felt like I needed to lay on the floor and just pass out. That's just how bad I felt. But then all of a sudden, somebody wheels in a man in a wheelchair. And he has no legs. All of my troubles went away.
Right.
Because all I could think of was this healing system. I wish I could go over there and tell him. I said, look, help's on the way. Hang in there, buddy. And the other day I was in a grocery store. There's a lady there that had a deformed hand. One of her hands, you can tell it was deformed. It wasn't, the birth defect, I'm sure.
Right.
And I want to tell her the same thing. I want to tell her about all this. But he wouldn't believe it if I told him. So it wasn't, you used to be telling him about it. But I would love to be able to witness firsthand and be personally involved in seeing all these people that have these birth defects, that have these amputees, that have no legs, people who are disfigured from being burned. I would love to be able to personally be involved in, clinics to specialize maybe in these people, to just herd them in there and get them all healed, get them healed of all these things, but
I love it.
That's where I see myself going.
I'm excited for that.
And if if it's meant to be, it'll happen. If it's not, it won't. That's the way I look at it. But
it's going to happen. It's meant to be. And let me go back. You were talking about the prophecy and how the person who prophesied that you're going to amount to something really great. And then you said, but that hasn't happened thus far.
Right.
And then in the next sentence, you say, I want to build this pond for my grandchildren.
Right.
You see where I'm going with this? It's like, I feel in my heart that by having a family and having grandchildren that you love so much, clearly you've amounted to much. And the way sometimes we define success or lack of success has to do with business or wealth or something else. But one of my favorite families lives down at the corner, very, very small house. They have all these parties outside in their front yard, but I always look at them as being such a beautifully happy family. They don't have the big house, but they have so much joy. Right. And so just something to consider.
I understand.
I had to add that.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing that to light, because it means something to me also. But that's where I've been, and I guess this is where hopefully that's where I'm going, is through all this, is to help heal the world. I mean, that's another thing I like to add too, if we still have time. I've always have been, ever since I was a teenager, a big car fanatic. You know, I love automobiles, and that's all I've dedicated my whole life to cars, I guess you might say. That's been my life, is cars. I mean, it sounds crazy, I know, but I've owned probably 140 cars in my lifetime.
Wow.
You know, I'm talking about actually titled and licensed and driving on the road, you know, because that's just how much I trade cars like I trade shoes, I guess, you know. But that's not important to me anymore. That used to be my whole life. But I've got 4 old cars sitting here in my house right now that they don't mean nothing to me right now. You know, I just want to see this through.
Why do you think they don't mean anything to you right now?
Well, they were just distractions in my lifetime. You know, they were distracted me from what was really important in life. And now I see what's important.
What's that?
Helping everybody, helping other people. It's like this greenhouse I'm talking about. I would love to start a greenhouse in my community wherever I end up. I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to move on somewhere else. But I would love to see, I'd love to have a greenhouse where I could grow, you know, organics type vegetables, and for family, friends, and community, you know, just let them come get them just for free. It wouldn't be a business. It'd just be something a community outreach, you know, to help the community. You know, and then, you know, stuff like that, and then get involved in maybe get involved with the healing centers or something, and just help people. You know, that's what we all need to do, is just come together and, you know, I was telling my wife this morning, I said, you know, this world needs to come to where we all work together as a community. You know, if I need to build a house, you know, the community comes and helps me build my house. If we need to do a barn raising, we can build a barn, you know, and just everybody help one another.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody being about themselves, you know, and that's the way it's always been. And everything needs to change. I think it will. I think the whole new world's ahead of us, you know, for the better.
Hallelujah. We're here. That's what we're here for, Russell. That's what we're here for, is to bring it all to fruition. And we're the trailblazers. So. Yes,
we are. And it's bigger than we realize. It's going to be historic. We're in a historic time right now. This has never been done before. Mm-hmm. And it's happening right now, and we're all part of it. And there's people around us that they were crazy, but you know, that's okay. We're going to show them how crazy we really were.
That's right. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. I just want to ask you one last question.
Okay.
Is there anything else besides just helping people that you want to do for you? Something that will bring you personal, like something that you didn't do in your life in the last 65 years that you really wish you would have done, that now that you get this chance, you get to do it?
Well, I guess what I've always wanted in life was to be able to provide for my family in ways that I never have been able to do. And I want to be able to, I mean, I'm dreaming, hopefully my dreams come true, but I want to be able to buy a piece of property, have a nice home, be able to hunt on the property, be able to fish on the property, be able to raise food on the property, just more or less become self-sufficient, for me and my family, friends, community is what I would love to do. I love to travel. I would love to travel, there's a lot of the country I haven't seen, a lot of the world I want to see. Just things that I've never been able to do. I want to slow down, and I can't say slow down, it's going to be wide open, but I want to enjoy life to its fullest rather than worrying about cars and boats and, that kind of stuff. They've all been distractions, and everybody needs to lose the distractions and start caring about each other.
Yes. Oh, well said.
Family, friends, and community in the world.
Well said. All right, my darling. I just want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today, sharing your story. And I look forward to, after the QR, having you back for part 2.
I look forward to it. I can't wait. It's going to be epic.
Yes.
If I can say that, to say the least, it's going to be epic.
Indeed.